It is quite common to give lectures and workshops for high school students by Vidzeme University lecturers, but it was most in presence. And since last year we are having COVID-19 pandemic, we needed to think something else. So we upgraded these workshops, made them more interesting for high school students, and we got a program of 13 interesting lectures and workshops, which we started on March 2021. First, we had lectures where the high schoolers just sit and listen. Then we had workshops where they also had the possibility to interact with the lecturer. And then we had a game of cultural diversity. So they played in 2 teams against each other. That was fun. And so each school had a possibility to choose between those master classes, what suits them the best.
My master class for high school students was called Journey into Cultural Difference, and I would also like to emphasize not only difference but also, of course, similarity or specifics in general. But what we did there, we were basing that on the intercultural training game called Bafa Bafa, which is pretty old game back from 70s, developed originally for American Navy employers who were traveling abroad and needed that training on how to interact and communicate with people from different countries where they were based and located. And so for our high school students, we made an adaptation of this game, and also the challenge was that we had to do it online. And so what we did, we basically divided them into 2 groups. Each group had their tasks and also their specific cultural norms that they had to learn about, and then have to interact based on that cultural norms and their varieties among each other, and learn from the group, and then come back and tell each other what they learned from the visiting that other group of school kids in this case.
So basically, during those master classes, I give lectures about social engineering and how students to be online during those, and how to be protected using those social media. And I teach them how those big machines like Google or Facebook, Instagram, and all the big social media gather their data and use them, and how they can be protected. For example, in master classes, we had some really nice interview when we were going through Facebook or Instagram. I had some questions that came from some students, like how can we hack some Instagram, or how can we hack some Facebook? And I told them that the main point is how to protect ourselves, that we don't be part of those, not how to teach them how to hack or how to go through those, but everything we cover, because after the security was also the phishing part that is really important, and that's part of how they can be safe when someone tries to hack them. So basically they learned the idea, and that was good and great, and I learned that they will use those for safer and better environment.
Recently, the foresight skills are very demanded in both sectors, private and also the public. So this was also my response to that situation. However, we have to admit that thinking about the future is not so simple nowadays, as the world contains a lot of uncertainties. So what we did in our master classes, and what I did in my master classes, we tried to talk about scenario method, talk about different pathways, how to think about the future in this very changing, very complex world right now.
For me, as a simulation modeler here at Vidzeme University of Applied Sciences, it was important for students to show how their knowledge gained in mathematics studies can be applied also in mathematical modeling of hydrology.
From the project E³UDRES² perspective, and also beyond that, I do see that these master classes are of high value from very different viewpoints. Starting from the fact that, of course, it's direct contribution to the project, and ending up with the fact that it's very direct bridge with high schools, with the schools in general. It's a very direct link which also works as a marketing tool for us, for our university, and also provides the future students with the insight what we mean by studies in university.
In my opinion, for schools, it is important to take part in those master classes, since students can see what they will do at university, what to prepare for, and how theoretical knowledge can be applied in real life.
Master classes and cooperation among universities and schools, local communities, I think is very important for future, and definitely we need to do more of that, because I think it is universities' responsibility as much as it is, of course, responsibility of other community members to kind of share that experience and bring it back to the place where we are working. And in this sense, I think universities very often are much better known, maybe nationwide, maybe international-wide, but local communities who are like immediate beneficiaries of the knowledge that is accumulated. Until now, I think there has been a kind of a gap between how what we know we transfer more to the bigger audiences outside the immediate community, but I think this is something that has to be changed, and this initiative was, at least, I don't want to say it's a first step, because of course universities and Vidzeme University in Applied Sciences is bringing back the knowledge by doing applied research about the topics that are very important for local employers and inhabitants. But I think definitely there has to be done more, and this is one of the ways how we can bring back, because we have the knowledge. That knowledge is not only actual for students or researchers, everyone can actually benefit from that, and this type of cooperation by developing the master classes and tailoring them actually to the needs of the people who are not our usual target audience is also methodologically something that is beneficial for all involved parties. So.